Hello and welcome to Smallton Model Railway. Yes, we've now got a nice view of a train going over a bridge. Ooh, wonders will never cease. Right, well, because I've had a lot of comments about doing a model of an aircraft fuselage for a load on my model railway, this is what we're going to be doing. So just have a second while I change the screen. Well, here we have a 737. It's a 737-100 and was built in 1967. Now the 200 and subsequent ones are slightly different, but for all intents and purposes, we're just going to use this as a base. Now, if your layout is of a different era than the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s and low 2000s, then you'll probably want a different aircraft. Now there's a 125 available from Airfix, also a Jetstream which is 172. There's a slight difference but not too much. Now, if you use your normal toilet roll as a basis, or you want to make your own tube, that's entirely up to yourself. But a standard toilet roll is just under 2 inches, and if you work it out into the scale, it comes to 13 feet at 176 scale, or 12 feet at 172. And since the diameter of a 737 in 172 scale is 12 feet. Oh, we can use that. So, having got you chosen what you want to do with the tube, etc., first thing you need to do is to identify this line here, which is the bottom of the wing. So you measure up from the bottom or the edge of your tube up to this point here and draw a line on your tube. Then simply divide it in half to get this line here, which is a joint. And in the traditions of certain programs, here's one we prepared earlier. Now I've taken this a little bit further, but the principle's the same. So once you've identified your lines, you cut that piece out and you cut 2 pieces of card, one to form the flooring on the inside and one to form this bulkhead here, which is the start of your fuel tank. And you also need to divide that into 2. Looks like I'm going to have to put a drop more glue on this. And then on the outside of this, you put a small section of card so it forms like a T. Now I shall show you that in a moment. So once you've got it to this stage, you then need to do the windows. So again, using this line and this line, draw up so you get this bottom section here, which is about 5/16 from the edge here. Another 16th is the bottom of your windows, which is 3/8 here, which is about 1/8, and then another 16th to get the top. The windows work out from here to here is 1/16, and they're 1/8 of an inch wide. And yes, I use proper real English measurements, not this foreign French shit that doesn't work. and I'll tell you why it doesn't work eventually. So once you've done that, identified your windows, you mark them out, and here's what we've prepared earlier. So the escape side is 6 windows, and I've just found out I've just marked that wrong. It's on the 7th one, not the 6th one, but I'll sort that in a minute. But basically that's what you get. Now I've just coloured these just to mark it, to differentiate them. So what has got to be done now is to transfer all these markings to the other side, and obviously correct that because that should be here, not here. Should have noticed that. No, never mind. We'll do it in a minute. Now if you actually compare the two, you'll see it's slightly shorter. Sorry, I can get that in. Front section's not too bad, but the back section is slightly shorter. So what you do, the section that you've cut out, to simply glue it on and add the difference. So mark out where on your waste piece of card, mark out where it ends, and then just transfer all your markings out for your windows onto this section here, and you'll probably need to bring in a little piece of card to make up the difference. So we'll do that off screen and I'll get back to you in a minute. Right, so we've extended the fuselage by the small amount that's required to make up the 2 sections. Now don't worry about any joints because you will be covering these over later. So what you've got to do now is at the end of that section, if I can get this off and just move it, is another bulkhead. It comes there, and in between you've got a support piece, which is where the 2 wing sections join together. So once you've done that, then comes the painful part. Each of these has to be transferred over to the other side. And I would suggest you just drill it or cut it or whatever you want to do, but probably drilling it would be the best option. Once you've drilled it out and got all the window holes in place, on some of them, I wouldn't suggest you do them all, from about the 2nd window down up to where the emergency hatch is, and the same here. These 2 or these 3 here, you can put some acetate or something like that to indicate the fact that you have actually got a window in there. So the reason for not putting them in all of them is when this gets to the factory, they would join the nose, the remaining of the tail. So you've got that. Okay. So all you have to do now is cut out the window, the emergency exit here, because that would be fitted later, and drill the holes for the windows. Don't need to bother with this fin because that would be fitted later, and obviously the wings and the fuselage and structure underneath here to support it would be fitted once the wings are in place. Now, as I said, whatever era you're dealing with determines what fuselage you want to put in. If you're doing with the 1940s, obviously you can get the Lancaster fuselage. Earlier than that, you're going to be struggling for something, but it's not impossible. You could probably find something that would be suitable. It's really up to yourselves what fuselage you do. Now, the only reason I'm doing a Boeing, why do I call them Boeings? Oh, that's the sound they make when they hit the floor. Oops, oh dear. And that was told to me by an American who actually worked there. So sue him, not me. Right, okay. Once you've drilled all the holes out for the windows, which I will be doing possibly next time, or before next time, because this video is getting on a bit now, is to cover the outside of the fuselage in some aluminium foil or aluminium tape. Now, you need to get a small overlap here. So if you put a piece across here first, and then make sure you got rid of any evidence of the joint, and then punch your holes through that you've already drilled and cut out for your escape exit. Put this piece on first, then the pieces for here. Now don't forget you've also got a joint here, so you need to emphasize that joint here. So put your tape this way. Okay. And I'll show you that next time, because as I say, this video is getting on a bit now. And same here. And just put a small section in here. So for next time, what I will do is show you this section in here, which joins up the forward bulkhead here and the after bulkhead for the fuel bays, the center tanks. Plus I will put in this where the landing gear hit comes, which again will be another small bulkhead section. So look out for next time. If you're really interested in doing this as a load for your railways, I'm quite happy to provide 2 pictures of a 737 if that's what you want to do. Just leave some contact details and I will email them to you. If you're worried about security on YouTube, just set up a one-off account and I'm quite happy to send them to you, and they will be sent free of charge. Now what you need for this is obviously a tube. You want it just slightly less than 2 inches in diameter, some flat card about 60, yeah, well maybe a 30-second thick or something like that, something cornflakes card or something like that. Plain is better because you'll have the pictures on the inside, etc. I've just used some plain white card that I've found lying around to do this. Aluminium tape or aluminium foil, and some acetate or the covered plastic, thin plastic that you would find on the Bachmann figures, etc., to actually do the job. Pair of scissors, sharp knife, and a 3/16 drill bit, or one of the ones that you use for wood, etc. That I will show you how to do next time. So I've hoped you've enjoyed the first part of this. I hope to send the second part before we get any visits, because some people actually know where I live, and the northern neighbours are getting very rowdy. So I will keep I'll keep doing this, and